Have you ever engaged in a serious debate over which is better, Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings? Have you ever played Smash or Pass using only characters from Star Wars and Marvel movies? If you answered yes to any of these questions, we have the podcast for you. Listen to The Steam Gentlemen, the podcast where an expert panel convenes to ask the questions about pop culture and social commentary that other podcasts are afraid to ask. Listen to The Steam Gentlemen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Ladies and gentlemen, Wrestling Fans International Association is back. That's right, the premier fan club association of the 1970s and 1980s has been revived and is back in business. Join today. It's free at thewfia.org. That's thewfia.org. You can also join us on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/WFIA 1969. Welcome back, everybody, to the 1987 Supermod. I am your host, Brad Drake, and this is the World Wrestling Federation. We are recording our fourth episode here of Wrestling Spotlight, everybody, and this is going to conclude our television tapings and put us right back into house shows and perhaps other sporadic television tapings that we do, such as the shows from the Spectrum or Madison Square Garden. I don't know. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but we will have those exciting things coming up ahead. All right, so let's take a look at our card for tonight. Imagine, everybody, actually being in the arena when the WWF would record all these shows. They would have like 8 or 10 hour recording sessions for these television shows. That's why they had to pipe the crowd noise in, because the crowd was dead doing all these recordings. Arn Anderson recently talked about it on his podcast. Not recently, probably a month or two ago. He was talking about when he went up there in, 88, 89, as part of the Brainbusters, and they'd work like 3-4 shows, 3-4 matches for these TV recordings. He said the crowd would just be dead. So, hey, that's the way it goes. All right, we're going to give our card a rundown here, everybody, for tonight. We have 3 dark matches as usual. We're going to see Boris Zhukov in action. The Glamour Girls are going to put up the World Women's Tag Team title. Mr. Fuji, that's right, Mr. Fuji is going to work a dark match here. Moving on to our main card, we're going to see Pete Doherty, the Duke of Dorchester. He's going to face Bob Orton Jr. Of course, he goes by Bob Orton in the game. We are going to see Dave Wagner against Ken Patera. We are going to see Rick Renslow, Dave Wagner's tag team partner as the Wild Alaskans. Billy Jack Haynes is going to wrestle. That's 2 guys from Oregon here, so check that out. All right, in our main event, everybody, we're going to see the Heenan family in action as King Kong Bundy and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff will work the main event here. So, we are going to have, of course, they're going to face jobbers, enhancement talents, Scott McGhee and Tommy Sharp. We're also going to see some promos here by none other than Ken Patera, a promo by Billy Jack Haynes, and another one by King Kong Bundy and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. My OCD is kicking in here. I got to make sure that that border is in effect, and now it is. All right, everybody. So, with all that said, that was quite a bit said. Let's get to booking. Here we go with our opener, this dark match. It, of course, is going to be 5 minutes, and we are going to have Sam Cody versus Boris Zhukov. Boris Zhukov has not yet made his television debut. It's going to be a little bit before he does. He, of course, is going to debut as the tag team partner of Nikolai Volkov as the Bolsheviks. And they were a good tag team. People will disagree with me about that. People will argue with me about that. People will say that Boris Zhukov was not that good. I disagree. For a couple 300-pounders, they bumped and moved well. And they were a good low to mid-card tag team. And they did the favor for a lot of teams. My favorite match of theirs was SummerSlam 88 when they lost to the Powers of Pain. That was my favorite match of theirs. All right, Dawn Marie Johnston is once again in action here. And I should be saying Angie Minelli is being used once again here. She's been used quite a bit. So Johnston and Minelli are going to face the evil Glamour Girls here. The Glamour Girls, of course, are the reigning World Tag Team Champions. So we have Johnston and Minelli versus the Glamour Girls. And in this case, the title will be on the line since it's a dark match. It's not a tag team match. And here we go. Angie Minelli, Dawn Marie Johnston, and they're in there against the Glamour Girls. Alani Kai is going to get the win here. And these two ladies are managed by Jimmy Hart. And I remember watching them as a kid. And, of course, I wasn't a big fan of women's wrestling. But I remember watching them and going, you know what? These two women are really good. And they were. All right. And to finish things up here, we are going to have George Skaaland against Mr. Fuji. For those of you that don't know, Mr. Fuji was still working occasional matches here in 1987, all the way until 1988. He was doing a lot of six-man tags and stuff like that. So he's 52 years old, but still working it in the ring. All right, so here is George Skaaland. And, of course, Mr. Fuji is going to get the win here. And I did re-edit it for 10.1, so the managers could wrestle and could be in dark matches as they should be and could be in six-man tags as they should be. And, all right, we're all set here with those three matches. Here we go. Pete Dohety, I have misspelled his name. I'll get that fixed, is in there against Bob Orton Jr. And, of course, he does just go by Cowboy Bob Orton. And we have Dohety versus Orton here. Orton is managed by Mr. Fuji. So here is Pete Dohety. Here is Bob Orton. For those of you that have been playing this mod, you'll know that Bob Orton Sr. is still in the game. I put him in the game because he was still active in the ring and still doing a lot of work around the circuit. So, of course, Bob Orton, Cowboy Bob Orton, the ace. Bob Orton gets the win here, everybody. And up next here we have a Kenny Patera promo. Ken Patera cuts a promo. And Patera, of course, is in a feud with the Heenan family. I believe Craig DeGeorge is our man here. You're probably wondering why I'm hesitating here, and it is because of the fact that I actually haven't recorded these in over a week, so my brain doesn't quite remember who the host is. I'm almost 100% certain that it's Craig DeGeorge. We're going to double check. That's why we put it in the game here, everybody. We, of course, are Wrestling Challenge here. Not Wrestling Challenge, Wrestling Spotlight. And it is Craig DeGeorge. Okay, good. So we're good to go here. Right back to TV tapings. Okay, so this one's all set and ready to go. And here we go. We have Dave Wagner in there against Ken Patera. Dave Wagner's a big dude. So here's Wagner versus Patera. Ken Patera was slimmed down at this point, but still in really, really good shape. He was shredded up here. Unfortunately, he would have a knee injury, and then he would blow out his bicep. And it kind of ruined his comeback because his comeback did have promise. He had some major heat with Bobby Heenan. And I think I've said before, I just recently finished reading Ken Patera's book. It was not a very well-written book. It was all over the place. It was very scatterbrained. But I did enjoy it. I did learn a lot about Ken Patera that I didn't know. The thing with the book was it just felt rushed. It felt like there was too many hands in the pie type of thing. Like you'd get one or two chapters that are really well written, and then all of a sudden all this weird stuff would be in other chapters. You know, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I took it. All right, Billy Jack Haynes is in there talking. Here is Craig DeGeorge. And he, of course, is talking About that mighty Hercules. Hercules is off screen. Haynes is based on entertainment. And this one is ready to go here, everybody. Rick Renslow, the Alaskan. Rick Renslow is going to face Haynes here, and it's not going to go well for Rick Renslow. Wagner and Renslow were a tag team in the AWA called the Wild Alaskans. They had some moderate success in 1986. They both ended up doing enhancement work here for the WWF in 1987. All right, so here is Billy Jack Haynes, and Billy Jack Haynes, everybody, is going to get the W here. I miss these enhancement shows. I really do. I wish wrestling would go back to this. As crazy as that sounds, it is true. All right, so King Kong Bundy and Paul Orndorff cut a promo. And we're not going to have Bobby Heenan talk for them. They should be able to cut good enough promo here for themselves. Both these guys have some pretty darn good charisma. They're talking to Craig DeGeorge, and they're just openly talking here. Neither are in a feud at this time. So here we go. Entertainment. This one is booked. And here we go with our main event. Going to be a 4-minute bout. And we have McGhee and Sharp versus Bundy and Orndorff. Here is Scott McGhee. And his partner is Tommy Sharp, also known as Tommy Short. See, same guy. And they're in there against King Kong Bundy. And the returning Paul Orndorff. So here is Bundy. Here is Paul Orndorff. And we are going to have Orndorff get the win here. And this one's booked, and we're all set here, everybody. 35 minutes, maxed out. Let's go ahead and start the show. Let's see how we do. All right, Zhukov gets the win with that running headbutt drop. And he's got the Slickster as his manager. There we go. The Glamour girls get the win here. Defense number 6 for them over Johnston and Minelli. 33 overall for this one. Not a very good match, but you wouldn't figure it would be. All right, Mr. Fuji gets the win with that kamikaze clothesline. Fuji gets a 49 on his own. Skaaland 38, 36 overall. And, of course, Mr. Fuji's got some major penalties against him. He's old, so that's what's going to happen. All right, here we go. Bob Orton gets the win with that superplex over Pete Dohety. 67 for this one. Bob Orton was so smooth in the ring. So smooth. All right, up next, we got Kenny Patera gives us a nice 74 promo here. Lots of green. Green equals money. And up next here, we have Wagner versus Patera, and Patera gets the win with that bear hug known as the Patera hug. And holding back in experience, those are our knocks. Totally understandable. Billy Jack Haynes cuts a promo here. It probably was not very good. This guy was all over the place in his promos. And yeah, it was terrible. No script to follow, mess. Yeah, I agree. That's accurate. 45 overall. And here we go. Haynes gets the win with that full Nelson over Rick Renslow. 68 for Billy Jack Haynes. 50 overall here for this one. Here we go. Lots of green here in the promo of Bundy and Orndorff. They get a 71 for their promo here. That's pretty good stuff. And here comes our main event. And Paul Orndorff gets the win over Sharp with that pile driver. 72, 67. Orndorff's kind of criminally underrated here in this mod. Declining physical ability, understandable. Yeah. All right, 52 overall for our main event. Not very good. We get a 64 overall for the match. I like it. This one's going to take us back to the main screen here. And we are getting ready to do some tour work here. I don't know if I have it loaded in there already. Probably going to have to do my research here and look into it. It's probably not in the game here, but we'll find out shortly here. Let's check our incoming here. Bill Jadone's injured. Fair enough. And let's take a look at our upcoming here. Okay, so we do have a tour in the books here. Tour number 153. And let's take a look and see what this one is. And this one is in the Montreal Forum. We're going to Quebec, everybody. We're in the Forum. I will look up the card and plug it in. We'll put the name in here, Montreal QB. There we go. All right, everybody, do a quick look around the game world here, see if anything catches our eye. Most likely will not. World Class ran a Sportatorium show. The spoiler at age 46 is the World Class World Heavyweight Champion. Windy City ran a studio show. Ladies in the main event here. All right, looks like Crockett was off. So that's going to do it for us, everybody, for this one. We're going to be back in action here with the Montreal show, and I will look it up and make sure that we get an accurate card like we normally like. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. For those of you who are new to the channel, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button, and I'd also appreciate it if you could give us a like and tell your friends about these videos. Drop us a message below. Let us know what you think so far. Check us out on social media, facebook.com/group/1987supermod. You can also find us over on Reddit under the subreddit of TEW 2020 Friends. Don't forget, we're also on Discord under 1987 Supermod. Make sure to check out Wrestling Fans International Association. That's over on the WFIA.org. It is 100% free to join, everybody, and 100% free to participate. Coming up soon will be the release of the latest version of Wrestling Fan News on June 1st, everybody. So join up today. Thanks a lot. We'll see you tomorrow. Back in action.